with you, I'm just gonna the three tools that we currently use is HeyGen, Canva, Adobe. I don't have any experience with Runway ML, Descript, or Opus. So I'm kind of hoping that whatever research that you've done, you handle those three, and I will comment more on the tools that we use and
Yes,
how we use them.
sure, no problem. So do your countdown and go straight into it.
Okay, hold on. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 493 of the MailRight podcast. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have some sad news. We will not be making it to 500. We will not most likely be making it to 494, 495, though we don't know for sure. We may make it to 494. So for those of you who are longtime listeners, if you would like to continue to get some updated wisdom, John is retiring from this particular podcast, and I'm going to continue on with a new podcast called The Real Estate Revolution. And you can get details about that on the inboundrem.com website. We'll announce it on our homepage. John, is there anything you'd like to add before I go into what we're going to cover this show?
Not really. It's just that it's just too much. I'm doing 3 podcasts, and I really got to concentrate. I don't want to give up on the Membership Machine show. I've been running MailRight as a kind of secondary business, and I put a little bit of extra money in it. We've got about half a dozen clients, but it hasn't grown for over 18 months, and I haven't been putting the effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been concentrating on my other business, which has grown. I lost a major client about 6 weeks ago. And I'm sure we can get some other major clients, but I really need to concentrate on that business, and it's reasonably successful. So I just haven't got the bandwidth, Robert.
Copy you. Well,
It's not that we're falling out dramatically, because we haven't. It's just I need to concentrate on my other business. That's the main thing.
And I'm sad to see this go. I just want to acknowledge here on the show. Listen, John is the one who introduced me to podcasts. There was another person involved, Thomas, a long time ago, but John took that baton, offered me a spot on the show, which I gratefully accepted. And I've kind of grown to love the format for reasons that are about like access to influencers and things like that. And that's why I'm going to continue the show. But honestly, everybody who's listening, I never once had podcast on my particular marketing model when we started. It is 100% my experiences with the show and experiences with John. It's making me want to continue the show. So thank you, John. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate
I think we've covered some great stuff. It's just that the reality is I haven't concentrated. I did have a business partner, but he's bailed, and I don't like giving up on stuff, but I really need to concentrate on my other business. And that's just the reality, Robert.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, one way or the other, we have an excellent, excellent show. John and I have beat the drum for almost 3.5, 4 years now that we've been doing the show on video. Well, today we're going to talk about probably one of the hottest segments of video, which is AI video editors, those editors that can theoretically make your videos look magical. And on this particular list that John, once again, did all the production work on, it just so happened by sheer coincidence and luck that me and my teams use 3 of 6 tools that he has on the list. So John and I are going to kind of split it up a little bit. I'm going to talk more about the tools that we use and explain how we use them to all of you. And you can decide for yourself if you think that's going to be good to, like, for your business models as realtors. And then John will talk about the 3 heavier, not exclusively, any more than I will exclusively talk about mine, but he will take more the lead. So without any further ado, the first that we have on our list in episode number 493 is Canva. Now, Canva is absolutely the tool that I use. It's one of the only AI tools where I have a team membership, so I pay more money for it. For those who don't know what that means, I think we pay a one-time payment of a few $100s a year, but that's a team membership for Canva. I've got a total of 3 resources that use Canva. We use it for the creation of thumbnails. We use it for editing videos, and we even use it in partnership with another tool that's on the list, which is HeyGen, but that's way down the list, and we'll talk about that last. But I just want you to know that we refine some of what HeyGen does with Canva. Now, Canva is user-friendly. It has a massive library of licensed material that you can use as seed material inside what you do. You can also do some really cool things these days with uploading images, like a static image of, let's say, a house, and then Canva will create a video around an image for you with some prompts. Now, prompt engineering is always important for every single one of these models that we're talking about. And I am not the prompt engineer for our Canva tool. I've only got the reports from my team that it is a very, very useful tool across almost every medium of social media content. We use it for graphs and charts on our extended blog posts. We use it to generate 8-second videos for when we want some movement across some of the video products that we produce, like Video Shark. We use it. I mean, we use Canva every single day, John. And I'm really high on the tool. I think it's the most useful. It is certainly the tool that we as an agency use the most of everything on the list. So what was your, why did you put it on the list today?
Well, I think they've improved it quite a bit. I use Canva almost every day, not quite every day, but many days. And the free product isn't crippled. I pay for the pro, which I think is $120 a year. So, and it's one of those apps or services that, bit like Grammarly or Zoom or Dropbox, they're the 4 that I pay for every year. And I just pay when the invoice comes in. I just pay them, and it's one of those 4, really. I just pay it. I think it's well worth $120 for what it provides. And I haven't used the AI video tool, but I watched some videos, and it looks pretty cool for what you're getting. Is it part of the pro, or can you get it for the free bundle?
I don't think you can get it through the free, but I do think it's part of the pro. Yeah. And to just give everybody, maybe even you, a perspective, when I was researching pricing for tools, not only was Canva more broadly useful than most tools, it also happens to be cheaper, and that's a rare combination. Like VO3, which is a great tool, which is a Google tool for those that don't know, or Nano Banana, is $29 a month. Now that, to put it into perspective, is 3 times higher than the pro license that you've got, and it's about 30% higher than the team license I've got. So when you look at price versus efficiency, Canva also tops that list too, on top of everything else, making it, I think personally, a de facto recommendation. And I love the fact that you put it number 1 on the list of things that we're going to talk about today. Number 2 on the list is Adobe Express. Now, you used a keyword here, which is Express, okay, which is so that everybody knows what that means. Adobe is one of those sites. Now, I love Adobe, and I love Adobe products. I don't want anybody to misread this. My only complaint, it has been this way for a long time, is that it's hard to cancel once you sign up for them, because I run into that all the time, and they have so many tools that I get lost on what tool that we're using specifically. So John was kind enough to include a link to what we're going to talk about, Adobe Express, okay? I strongly recommend that, so all of you don't accidentally download the wrong Adobe tool, that you use it. My experience, not you necessarily yours, John, I'm going to ask you about yours. My experience has been that Adobe, which is used by my 2 top editors, it does stuff that other tools don't do. It's a more extensive toolkit, because I know that my 2 best editors swear by Adobe products, but I also know I've logged in and looked at their tool stuff, and it's not as easy as like my ScreenPal editor. It's not as easy as it's probably easier than God, not Screencast-O-Matic. There's a really complex tool that's out there, and there's another really old school video editing tool.
Are you talking about Final Cut? from
That's
Apple.
the Apple product. No, there's
Yeah.
another one that you can download that you can make a full-on movie. It has
DaVinci? You're talking
huh?
about DaVinci?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
So the other factor is, I think Rob's talking about Adobe Cloud, which is you get dependent on what license you have access to: Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Lightbox, Premiere Pro, which is their professional level editor. It's not cheap, folks. When I did my masters, I did a lot of work in Adobe in editing and in After Effects. We're talking about their free, much simpler tool here, Adobe Express, and they've offered it. They offer a lot of it for free. There are some parts that they ask for some money, but it's nothing like compared to their creative products. They have expanded it. I looked at specifically the editor that you get with Adobe Express, and I was quite impressed. The only problem is it's Adobe, and I only use Photoshop, so I managed to get a deal, and I do renew it. It's the fifth of the 5 products that I regularly, and it was part of Lightbox, so I only pay about 120 for the year, and of that I get Photoshop with Lightbox. But I don't touch the rest because well, they're in trouble, Adobe, a bit, because Figma, they're under attack from a product which they tried to buy. They tried to buy the company, and the government wouldn't let them do it, and that's a company called Figma. And basically, Adobe had a competing product, and they gave up on it, and they no longer, I think it's XR, and they gave up on it, and then they attempted to buy Figma, and they got pushed back from the government, and Figma went public. I can't remember when they went public, but they're really eating into the Adobe pie.
The tool that I was talking about is Camtasia.
Oh yes.
Okay. So just having said that, I still have team members that are using Adobe Express, and I actually have people just using a full suite of Adobe tools on top of everything else. So it is where serious video editors go. Whether or not it's going to be right for most of the people listening to the show, that's the reason I'm putting the addendum in there. If you have a video editor and you're just trying to get, like, if you're listening to the show so that you kind of understand what the tools are, so you can have conversations with people who use those tools a little better, then this is a great podcast for you to listen to, because then you can, all right, well, if they're using Adobe, they either have high aspirations or they're serious editors. And
yeah,
that's good.
I kind of selected the tools. I think all these tools, apart from the next, well, it's possible with the next, I think it's all aimed for the individual real estate agent that's probably trying to do it themselves. The next one we're going to talk about is probably the most powerful and the most complicated one, but it's still a lot simpler than Adobe Premiere or Final Cut. It's still a lot simpler.
So why don't you lead into the next one on the list,
and then we can go for our break. Well, it's Runway. Of this group, I would say it's the most complicated. They've got a free product. It's not that expensive though, really, compared to when you're in the Adobe suite, Pro suite, because they've got a free, but that's limited. The standard is $15. These month to month. The Pro is $35. I'd probably go with the Pro, and it's a combination of Premiere, After Effects, stuff that used to take you months to learn, and then probably a year so you could get up to professional standard. It's just amazing what it does. It takes away background, it makes videos, it takes one video and you can combine it with another. It's very powerful and it's very extensive what it can do. And like they say, I think it's going to be probably the most difficult, but compared, like I say, compared to what you had to know about a year ago or 18 months ago, it's totally doable, I think.
Copy you. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know much about Runway ML besides the fact I've heard of it. So, John, if you don't mind, we're going to go to our break. And then when we come back, you're going to kick us off on what we're going to talk about when we come back to break is a tool called Descript. You're going to want to stay tuned for what John has to say about it. So without any further ado, go grab that cup of coffee. Thank our sponsors, which is Inbound REM and Mail-Right. They are bringing you the show today. And so if you find anything that you like on the show, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up and a like, even though the show is going dark. The work that we put into it is not, and the shows, are we going to leave the past shows available for people to
they'll be up there.
Access? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like the work that we've done together, you should give us a final attaboy as you.
Yeah, what people got to understand, I do 3 podcasts a week, and it was just too much, Robert.
Believe me, I understand. Maybe everybody else doesn't, but I do. All right, with no further ado, we're going to be right back. Stay tuned. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you are still here after the break, John and I give you a hearty thank you so much. Now, he's going to take it away. We are talking about AI video editors. Next up on our list is Descript. Tell us about it, John.
Yeah, Descript, it's really interesting because Runway's got, I wouldn't say a kind of a traditional interface, but kind of compared to some of the more traditional editors, where Descript is quite unique in a way. It's got this interface where it's like using a word editor to edit your videos. It gives you a transcript and you can move the words around, and then you can select a word to delete it. Like if you're trying to get rid of all your hums and ahs, it will give you a transcript and you can select all the hums or all the ahs, and it will just remove them.
That's cool.
And you can do like fades, kind of traditional editing, video editing, but it's in a kind of word processor interface, and that's quite unique, isn't it? And a lot of people, I've got a friend that uses it very regularly every week, and he loves it. And it also Runway does it as well, but the Descript, if you're trying to you've got a long video and you're trying to turn it into shorts, it does a really good job of it, and it does the titles as well. And for the price, it's $24 for the hobbyist, and then the creator is $35. The business gets up to $65. So I probably would look at the hobbyist and then the creator at $35 if I was an individual agent trying to do some better editing. I think for the power and for the price, the creator at $35 of this list, unless I was going for the free ones, it's probably the one I'd go with a bit.
Very cool. Well, I don't, again, ladies and gentlemen, and for John, I do not know this tool that well. So I'm going to just add what John has included in the notes, but did not mention, which is the hobbyist price is $24 a month, creator $35, and business $65 per month. Now I'm going to add the final thought that all these tools fall in the same price range. They seem to be competing with each other within a few dollars a month, except of course for Canva, which once again is far less expensive than everything on the list. For those that might be trying to experiment and have no end goal besides like an inexpensive tool to try to get their feet wet. Other than that, John's list of performance stuff that he has been mentioning, I mean, that's how you measure these things. You look at the features and make a careful decision based on both your budget and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, Fifth on our list is Opus Clip. Yeah, once again, a tool that we don't use and that I don't know that much about. So John, why don't you take us through that one?
Yeah, that's mostly used for if you've got long videos and you want to cut them up and use them for TikTok, for Instagram Reels, if you want to use them on YouTube, the shorts. My friend, it's highly recommended for that. But the problem is he had both. He had Descript and Opus Clip. And he said he mostly uses Descript, and it just wasn't worth paying. But if you're just looking for a tool to cut up video in shorts, I'd probably go with Opus Clip, actually. But if you're looking for a general editor, I say that if you're happy with Canva or Adobe Express, but you want to produce a load of shorts for social media, I'll probably go with Opus Clip. But if you look at Descript and you like it, it's probably no point in buying Opus Clip. And it starts at 15, and then they've got a Pro that's 29. So it's not ridiculously expensive, is it?
No, not at all. And that's I had heard roughly the same thing about Opus. So for those that may be just looking for a fast, easy way to divide already existing longer format content up, the way that I like to test new services like this is just have one video ready to go. You sign up, you test it, you like literally cut it up, you post it, you make a reminder to yourself to go back into the tool a week later. And if you had some success with your shorts or whatever it was, maybe you then keep the expense going. But if you didn't, or you saw no noticeable difference, or it wasn't easier, you cancel the subscription. I don't know about anybody else, but I have so much bleed in terms of my finances because I have now canceled like 30 subscriptions, John.
Well, yeah, you just go. That's what I like about WordPress, because I bought a number which I use for my other business as part of my offering. I bought a number. Well, I've got some special deals because of my relationships, but I've got a number of lifetime unlimited website licenses. Because all this, it all adds up, doesn't it? All these subscriptions. I call it inscriptionitis, you don't realize. So I try and keep, there's about 5 of these SaaS products like Zoom, Grammarly, Dropbox, and there's a couple others, but I really try and keep the subscriptions down because it just gets totally out of hand.
It does. So far as yet, ladies and gentlemen, for the effort that I've told you, I've saved myself $600 a month, and of that 600, that fully 400 of it was stuff we're not even using. It was just, they got added, we tested, and we didn't cancel. That's why I gave you the advice I gave you. You don't want to find a charge for $15 a month, but you've been paying it for 2 years without ever even using the tool. You add that up, it does add up. That's just my only point. It adds up. Like, next thing you know, you've spent hundreds of dollars on something you haven't even looked at in a long, long time. All right, moving on. We finally are at a tool that I do have something to say about. John, I don't know if you're willing to do this little bit of extra work, but I've just posted a link for you. We are using HeyGen almost exclusively to do AI avatar videos, and we've got it to a point where I'd call it 80%, 8 out of 10 in terms of quality. It's where we create like a representation of a realtor with their permission, of course, and they're talking about an area. And we've done these videos numerous times. We've got like 4 betas now, and the videos don't get quite the same engagement as a real live human being does. But if you're looking for video and engagement, you're doing anything like SEO or trying to fill a channel or a vast number of other subjects, then all of a sudden this service can be very good. The realtor that we're doing it with has been a realtor for 40 plus years. He's not going to get involved in social or AI. So we came up with a solution just for him as a beta. And so far he has been really loving the result. So one way or the other, whether or not it's effective remains to be seen. But does he have video that looks like he's talking, giving you a tour guide of certain parts of his market? The answer is absolutely it does. And it's not that bad. If John is willing to attach it in the show notes, you can see an example, and it was generated using HeyGen.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes.
That's what I got.
Yeah, it's there's like 2 to 3, but this is one of the leaders, isn't it? I think we covered this 6-7 months ago, and there was some people that said you could improve the audio, and there was a third party, but I think they're improving almost every month. And it's not ridiculously priced, is it? It starts at 29 and the team is 39. So obviously it'd be better if you can do it yourself, but there are a lot of agents that just, I don't know what it is. Well, it is strange talking to a camera. I've just done a ton of it. I've done it on my WP Tonic channel. I've done 1,700 videos over 4 years. That's a lot of videos, so I'm not bothered by it. But looking straight at camera, I've got a camera over here, which is my professional camera. You get used to it. So I think, but there's some agents, they're really good in person, but they just can't handle being in front of a camera, can they?
No, they can't. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna do a quick little summary, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. Or if John wants to do a summary, he'll do a summary, and then we'll wrap up the show. My summary is this: there are a lot of interesting tools out there that are basically also AI video editors, but they're included in bigger tools whose purpose doesn't seem to be directly just editing AI video. One of the more interesting of these tools is the Instagram snippet cutter. I was just listening to like a very, very, very prolific like agent that has 100,000 plus like followers on Instagram, and he uses their baked-in tool to cut and edit and shorten his videos. He does it from his phone. He says it's easy and it takes him less than 30 minutes. So when we're talking about video editors, I would like to remind everybody it's a tool that should suit a need. If you have bigger needs inside video, you might be looking at a bigger tool. If your needs are super simple, you might actually first check out the tools that are included with wherever you're posting the video, because almost all the services, Google, Facebook companies, they're all including very, very good editors inside your posting ability. You might want to check those out before you spend any extra money. That is just a thought. How do you, either as a comment to what I just said or your own thoughts about that, how do you feel, John?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you can't beat Canva. I think what Adobe Express is offering, it's not, some of their functionality you do have to pay, but a lot of it is free. And I think it's got a very unique interface, but I haven't used it. But like I say, I've got a friend. Is this Descript? If you want, it makes it really easy to get rid of all the hums and ahs and really do a kind of semi-professional job, if that's what you're looking with, without spending all the time learning a more traditional interface. So, and then you've got Opus Clip, which if you're just using Canva and you want to do a load of shorts, I probably would cough up for Opus Clip because it does really do a good job.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being on our show. We may do one more, as we said, we may not. It is all to be determined. So in the event that this happens to be the last Mail-Right show, just a little snippet, the AI revolution, the real estate revolution, what I'm going to talk about is kind of the segue, the branching point between all the things that are new in real estate and all the traditional things. It's going to be a bridge conversation. I'm going to talk to a lot of innovators, a lot of CEOs, and talk about where we think technology is going, as well as some commentary on where technology has been at. So that's why I'm calling it the real estate revolution. And I intend to leverage my industry contacts and try to get some good guests, especially to kick off the show. I've got an agent with an AI funnel that is actually working, complete from start to finish, generating him leads cold, but he took 3 years to develop it. I'm trying to get him to be the first guest talking about all the work that went into building a completely autonomous AI tool that generates him leads. So that's what I got for you. If you'd like to check me out, you can do so at the Inbound REM channel. You can email me at robert@inboundrem if you'd like to be subscribed to my new list when I get it going for the new show. That's And I think that, oh, and one last thing from me to you and to all the audience, to John himself, I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to everybody. I want to give you a thank you, John, for all the work that you've done to produce this show, all the work that you still do to produce the show. I understand so well how you're saying it's an overwhelming mountain of work. Just to do one show is a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. To do 3 is almost mind-boggling. So, John, hat tip to the direction that you're going. All the luck. May the wind be behind your sails, and thank you for all that you've done.
Oh, thanks for that, Rob. I've learned a lot being your host on the show. I think we would do some really good stuff. I don't know why we didn't become number 1 in podcasting for real estate, but I think we were consistently in the top 20 around there. So I think we got a reasonable audience. We just didn't hear much from them, did we?
It's true. A few times over the years, I've heard there are some calls that I got,
but that's not unusual for podcasting.
Yeah.
My WP Tonic, which is a larger show, I depending on the guest, I have people join us live. Like 2 weeks ago, I had about 20-25 people join the conversation. But other episodes, other guests, I don't get anybody joining us. So it's really dependent on the guest, really. So, but thanks, folks. And hopefully we'll do an ending show next week. I can't say for definite, but I will attempt it. And hopefully we'll see you next week, folks.
All right. Take us offline, sir.